Stefano Pontecorvo, who is the former NATO senior civilian representative to Afghanistan, as well as the former Italian ambassador to Pakistan. He joins me now from Italy's capital, Rome, for some analysis on this. Ambassador, good to have you on the show. You served in Afghanistan at a time where the country was heavily dependent on foreign assistance. And to tell you the truth, it was getting that. That aid is no longer there, at least at the capacity that it once was. I was wondering if you could talk to us about how you think the Taliban is now struggling.
Well, the Taliban is struggling pretty substantially, also because their main focus is not on the creation of a working nation. It's more on the creation of a religious society. And so their efforts in building up capacity, administrative capacity, is very low.
Do you think that the Western countries' interpretation of what the Taliban is doing in terms of their reluctance to set up a working nation, rather in favor of a religious ideology, that is what is preventing them for unfreezing these assets, the sending more aid, which the people are in desperate need of?
Look, let me be very clear. I think that the freezing of assets of the Afghan state is a disgrace. That is Afghan money, and it has to go back to the Afghans, whoever is in power. I'm talking about the money which is frozen around the world, in the UK, in the US, just to be clear. After that, anything else is a political decision, except for humanitarian aid. Humanitarian aid is exactly that. Humanitarian aid, no strings attached, full stop. The real problem there is that the absorption capacity and the capacity of the Taliban to get that aid over to where it needs to be is simply not there. The only, how can I say, working institution is the UN. I saw my friend Ramiz Al-Akbarov, who's doing a great job, has always done a great job in Afghanistan. The UN has a network of Afghan NGOs that work pretty well, and so that is our best bet.
So often what we see is that soon after the initial weeks of a crisis like this is the attention shifts somewhere else. But what's perhaps just as important is sort of the longer term issues like reconstruction, which needs to be addressed. What is your outlook on that?
It's pretty bleak, actually, because there is going to be very little outside assistance, especially in the regions that need it and are, remote, as we all know. It's up to the countries in the region at this point to make good on their promises of not abandoning Afghanistan. In a certain sense, we already have and have shifted our attention elsewhere. So I think Afghanistan needs a substantial injection of capital and and capacity to be able to help in the reconstruction effort. I don't think much of that is forthcoming.
Clearly, the Taliban is isolated, and you have stated very clearly that this is going to hamper search, rescue, and recovery efforts. What does the Taliban need to do right now to actually make this process swifter, easier for the people?
Well, in a nutshell, live up to the promises that it had made, not formal, of course, but that they would build a society in which everybody is, and a nation in which everybody is represented. That is not the case. They are still, apart from the women, the situation of the women is tragic. It's not, it's beyond description. Simply, it's not only that girls can't go to school, but the women are an object and not a subject of rights in their own country, and that's half of the population. Yeah. And then there is a lot of repression going on. The Taliban are on killing sprees against people who have worked for foreigners or for the former government. They need to build consensus and make a livable state, a state in which all the citizens feel comfortable and can live in. That's not happening.
Yeah, all good points that you make. Ambassador Pontecorvo, thank you very much for joining us here on the NewsHour. I do appreciate you coming on and for the analysis. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.